everyone today? It's lovely Tuesday. I think we might be looking for some storms later, so if y'all see my hair blowing all around, I'm out here in a little wind, okay? But you know what? My husband said, what if it starts raining? Then you're going to have to bring me in. That's all. We're going to switch venues. That's all. We're going to head on in and do a little something different. You know how it goes. I missed y'all last Tuesday, but last Tuesday I was visiting with my mom and just sharing some beautiful time with her. You know, that's my number one girl. So I'm going to put my glasses on, and yeah, it was a wonderful time with her. Just those are times that I just cherish. You know, I consider myself blessed to have those times, you know, and I really am thankful for it. I praise God for it. I really do. I don't take that for granted. In fact, it's a blessing. I mean, it's just one that I can't talk enough about. But I just love hearing her, you know, her talk, and, you know, I love talking about, you know, just listening to her advice. And she can get at a little bit too much sometimes, though. But anyway, that's always been. But, you know, the wisdom, honey, I hold on to that wisdom. And, you know, I love how she talks about her childhood and all those things. What's up, Leontine? And it's just a joy. It really is. I just can't get enough of it. I tell you that my time away was also a time of rest, you know, and a time of restoration, a little small break from my normal world, you know. Every once in a while we need that. I've had a very busy year, a beautiful year, but a busy year. Been very busy. And I love being busy. I'd rather be, you know, doing things that I love and that, you know, things with purpose than to just be sitting around doing nothing. I think that an idle mind is the devil's workshop, like the old folks used to say. I don't know if they still say that, but I believe it. I really do. But now I'm back in the saddle. And y'all might have seen my title earlier. I said that I was going to be sharing a journey that I've really never shared before. Something that I probably held on to for, I have my reasons, but anyway, I'm going to talk about it tonight. I'm sharing the story I've never fully told, you know, the setbacks, some tears, some fears, and how God restored not only my writing, but, you know, my peace, my confidence, and even strengthened my marriage along the way. If you've ever wondered whether it's too late to get something started in your life, well, honey, let me tell you something. It is not. It really is not. See, when I think about my own life, I'm on a writing journey, and people see the books I'm promoting today, but you don't always see the journey behind them, you know. You don't see, you know, the things that kind of went along on the journey. Peaks and valleys, you know. It wasn't a straight path. It was filled with excitement, disappointment, fear, healing, and ultimately God's faithfulness. My writing journey actually began in the 1990s when my girls were really little, my babies were small, and I loved making up stories about them and my nieces and nephews. And before I ever dreamed of becoming a published author, I had already written 5 children's books. I had them tucked away, never really thought about doing anything with them. It was just a little keepsake for myself to remind me how wonderful my little girls were, you know, and my little children in my life, my little nieces and nephews and everybody. So they stayed tucked away. But, you know, sometimes, you know, at church, my husband would be in church. He would be bragging about my little stories that I'm writing about the girls. He was really intrigued by it. So he started talking about it at church. And one of our friends at church, I guess he was leaving town that weekend for the holidays. And he said that we knew he always wrote the New Year's Eve plays. And so he asked me if I would try my hand at a play. I had never done anything like that before, but I said, yeah, I'm up for, you know, something new. So I said, okay, I'll do it. And it turns out that it happened to be a wonderful thing. You know, it turned out it was a big deal. I was able to, you know, we did it at our church, and I was able to sell it to a local college theater program. So I was very proud of it, and it became something really nice. And we moved to Arkansas in 2002. We performed it many times at our church, and then we performed it at our local civic auditorium. And that led to me writing 9 other plays, and we performed those at the auditorium as well, in the civic auditorium. Our plays were some nice little hits, you know. Seeing my words come to life on that stage was just mind-blowing. It was one of the greatest joys of my life. honestly. So it was around 2011, I sat down to write another play. And this time, it refused to stay a play. Whatever it was I was writing, it refused to stay a play. And the next thing I know, it was just getting longer and longer. And I was thinking to myself, there's no way I could have this many sets on a stage, so this is going to be something different. So I just decided that since it's already too long, I'm going to try my hand at a book. So I started writing, and it was just getting longer and longer. So I did chapter after chapter. And before I knew it, I had written a novel. So that novel became His Father's Sins, which is another version of this book right here. This book right here. So that book right there, I published it in 2012. I was so excited when the book, when that beautiful book came in the mail. All those beautiful books came into my house, and I'm holding that first published book in my hands, and it felt like a dream come true. It was just everything. But just as quickly as the dream came true and I was all excited, oh my goodness, here come the enemies. But that dream quickly turned into one of the most painful seasons of my life. It really did. I believed I had paid for professional editing, right? And instead, my manuscript was published almost exactly like I had submitted it. Rough draft. There were many mistakes that should have been corrected. So I had, as far as I was concerned, my book was a flop. I was devastated. Some people chose to encourage me. Others chose to laugh. Sure did. That's what you have to do, when somebody's making a joke out of you, kind of look around the room and see who's enjoying the joke and who's clapping for you at the same time. You learn people in your lessons. If you don't have lessons, you don't learn anything. But if you don't learn from lessons, then hey, I don't know what to tell you. Something may be wrong. Maybe you're just a glutton for punishment. But I learned from lessons. So I was being laughed at. And some people were celebrating the story because some people looked past all those mistakes, and they loved the characters and they loved the situations that were going on in the book. And I wrote my heart out, so I know the story was good. I knew that. I wasn't worried about it. I knew the story was good, but I was devastated. I'm not lying. I was ashamed. So instead of celebrating the story, they pointed out every mistake they could find, and they made sure everybody knew. They made sure everybody noticed those mistakes too. And I'll be honest, y'all, I was crushed. I cried a piece. I was embarrassed. I questioned myself for a while. I couldn't even enjoy being an author because I was so focused on the criticism. It's just like one person can say one thing. You can be enjoying your life, everything going amazing, and one person can say something, and that's what you focus on. We shouldn't do that, but that's what we do. We focus on that one bad thing. And there I was, instead of focusing on this story that I know was good, that God gave me. But that devil is busy, honey. And I sent that thing in thinking that I was going to get it edited and all that stuff. It did not happen. But that part right there didn't bother me. It was the part where people were just so busy. I love you too, babe. Thank you. My husband is thebomb.com, y'all. He is. But, fear, by the time I looked up, everybody was talking about, oh, it's still a great story. Girl, that story had me up all night. I could not stop reading until I got to the end. All those were wonderful things. But, by the time I heard all that, fear had already taken root. I became afraid to write, afraid to publish. Oh, so afraid to publish. Afraid of being laughed at again. Fear didn't steal my ability, but it did steal my confidence. I wrote another novel in 2013 in a hurry, trying to prove myself. That didn't help a bit. The name of that story was The Right to Judge. As a matter of fact, I'm redoing that one as well. And trying to prove myself, like I said, then I wrote Sleep on It in 2014. But instead of sharing Sleep on It, this is Sleep on It, the one that I just published in June. Instead of sharing Sleep on It, I held on to it for years because I was afraid. That same year, 2014, my family and I moved from my home state. Leaving my parents and unfamiliar surroundings, I'm sorry, not unfamiliar, but everything familiar was one of the hardest things I've ever done. I struggled emotionally. I had a lot of weight on me. Not well, maybe fat too, but I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about a lot of things weighing heavily on me, on my mind, so I'm sitting up here thinking, worried to death, because I'm leaving my parents, my aging parents, my old parents. And well, then I'll let my mama hear me say, oh, young parents. All right, mama. Okay. So I guess you could say that I was depressed. I hate describing myself that way because I'm always an upbeat person. I don't really let things just hold me down, keep me down. Some things might get me down, but I don't stay down long. I'm sorry, I just don't. Hi, Janice. So I just, I guess I could actually call myself depressed at that time. When I first moved here, I was a basket case. I questioned everything, even whether moving here was a good idea or the biggest mistake of ever. I just thought that it was just, why did I do this? I should have never left her. I should have never left. But that wasn't working for me either. And so, on top of that, I hated the house we lived in. Oh, I hated that house. But that's another story. I'll talk about that another time. The one thing I just wanted to talk about for sure was how God came through and where he fits in all this. One day, how things beginning to change. I was sitting in church one Sunday, and I clearly, for the very first time in my life, I heard clearly in my ear, you're going to find your house today. Well, I hadn't been too long in the house that we were in, so I was like, how is that so? And God, come on now, what in the world? But I knew it was him. I knew it was him. And who am I not to obey? So I said, okay. I told my husband. He said, well, I ain't going with you. Anyway, that's another story too. I was hot. But that's okay. I grabbed two of my daughters and we went out looking for my house for hours. Next thing I know, they started complaining. I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to eat. I'm hungry. So I said, okay. And lo and behold, we were on our way out of the neighborhood. And we were lost. We couldn't find our way out of the neighborhood for anything. And I told my daughter, Kennedy, I said, hey, put our address in the GPS so we can get home. It was starting to get dark and everything. And we ran into this house. And immediately, I said, there's my house. Sign in the yard and everything. I said, that's my house. I knew it from the moment I saw it. I mean, I got cousins, friends that know. I have told this story probably a million times, this part of it. Not the part where I was devastated and my book was a flop. But this part of it, yes, I have shared this many times. I had never heard the Lord in my ear so clearly. I knew it was him. And when I saw this house, I said, that's my house. I felt peace. For the first time since I had been here for over a year, I felt peace. Honey, well, I just, it took us a good while to get in here too, because the enemy, oh child, that enemy was fighting me, but child, I'm a fighting sister myself and I want something. So he was fighting a losing battle, because I got to fighting with him. I'm like, oh no, sir. I know what the Lord told me. No, sir, you can't win this battle. So there is something about this place. This place right here, it brought me peace, and it brought peace to my heart the moment I saw it. Like I said, sitting by this lake. Y'all see this lake? And so it was just, I felt like I was just surrounded by God's beautiful creation. And it did bring me peace. I slowly found myself again. This became the place where I started dreaming again, the place where I started writing again, the place where I remembered that God gave me this gift, and he never asked me to bury it because some people criticized it. In 2021, I republished His Father's Sins. This is His Father's Sins. This is the newest version of His Father's Sins. And it finally got the recognition that it should have gotten the first time. But over a decade ago, I wrote Sleep on It. And it finally got published this year, in June, as a matter of fact, last month. So looking back now, I realized something. The delay wasn't because I couldn't write. It was because I had to heal. Today I have peace, I have joy, I have a husband who supports me, children and grandchildren who inspire me, and a God who never let me stop believing in the gift that he placed in my heart. When I almost did. Honestly, I almost did. So where do I go from here? I'm going to publish those 5 children's books. I'm going to turn my stage plays into screenplays. I'm going to continue writing every story God places on my heart. And one day I hope to see these stories become movies that inspire people, encourage families, and remind someone that hope is always worth holding on to. During that difficult season, God wasn't just restoring my writing, He was restoring me. One of the greatest gifts God has given me is my husband. At that time, he became my safe place. There were days when I wasn't confident, days when I questioned myself, days when I felt discouraged and emotionally exhausted. But instead of pushing me away and saying, get over it, he opened his arms and he gave me room to heal. I've always been a strong person, strong-willed, independent, sometimes even stubborn. Well, Patrick probably say most of the time. Maybe so. But I wasn't very good at letting people see my weaknesses. I was always trying to keep that thing inside and be like, I'm okay, and I'm okay. Smiling through it all, trying to. But God taught me something in that season. Strength isn't pretending you have it all together. That's not strength. Sometimes the strongest thing you'll ever do is become vulnerable with the person God gave you to walk through this life with. As I let my guard down, my marriage got stronger. We learned to lean on one another, and we had never, ways that we never had before. We've always been good friends. My husband and I have always been just like this. It's just like when I met, that is my person. I knew that. But sometimes, God can take a little thing that you think is strong and make the thing so much stronger, and He did. I don't think God was only preparing me to become a better writer. I believe He was preparing us to become a stronger couple. Today, people often tell us that, that they think they admire our marriage. They see the laughter and the friendship, the peace and the love we share. But, what they don't always see is the tears and the fear and the healing and the prayers. That's why I never take credit when it comes to my life. I do not. I give God all the credit, all the glory, because, honey, He has some work to do. He did. I believe God took two imperfect people, taught us how to trust Him first, taught us how to trust each other, and build something that encourages other couples. And I thank God for that. I want other people, not just couples, to believe, that strong, loving marriages are still possible. So if you're looking for somebody, it's still possible that you can have a wonderful, wonderful marriage. If our marriage inspires anyone, I hope it points them to the one who made it stronger, and that's our God. Because every good thing in my life, my faith, my marriage, my family, and even my writing is a testament. That's my testimony to God, to His grace. I've learned something over the last several years, that has changed, the way I look at life. We sometimes think that before we can celebrate, everything has to be perfect. It does not. Life has taught me that joy and sorrow can live in the same place. Like that book. I published a book with a ton of mistakes. On one hand, I'm over here, oh my God, this is horrible. But then I'm listening to people that were celebrating the book, and I'm thinking, I'm trying to be okay with that too. So, I was filled with embarrassment on one side, and then on the other side, I'm still celebrating that people are saying, this is a good book. I love the story. Talk about a lesson learned, honey. But the point is, you can celebrate a new opportunity while grieving something you've lost. You can be excited about your future while still healing from your past. You can thank God for the doors opening while praying through the ones that have closed. I've learned that gratitude doesn't ignore pain. Gratitude simply refuses to let pain have the final word. That's where I am today, filled with gratitude. I don't know if you know it, but I just believe that thankful people are happy people. Say it again, thankful people. People filled with gratitude are the happiest people. I really believe it. When you know that the Lord is so good and you give Him all the glory and you thank Him for every great thing that's happening in your life, thank Him for all those doors that have closed in your face. Those were good things too. We just didn't realize it at the time. But God makes us all. He when you think about your life, you had more good days than bad. Those are ways to wake up and smile and say thank you. Because, honey, let me tell you something. These two wonderful gifts right here, baby, when I open them, I feel blessed already. Honey, for so many reasons that they can open and that I can see. First of all, well, not just first, but that I'm alive, that I can open these eyes, honey. These things are something else, baby, and I cherish them too. Thank you, Lord, for the activity of my limbs, everything. I just give Him all the glory, all the credit for everything. I have hills to climb yet, still have valleys to walk through, but, you know, through those things, you have to know that there's still joy. You know that song, joy and pain. It's like sunshine and rain. Yes. So you can have it all. Have it all. Joy and the pain. Deal with it. Walk through it. And know that those tears that you have, they don't last long. That stuff is temporary. It is temporary. God doesn't let you cry for too long. I mean, but you're going to cry now because this is life. You're going to have some crying seasons. But you won't be crying for the rest of your life. If you just give God a chance, honey, you won't be crying for the rest of your life. He is a mighty God. Ain't he, Janice? Great is our God. Woo, honey. I'm about to get a shouting over here. So I just think about, you know, having the joy and peace and hope. And I have confidence that the same God who carried me through yesterday will faithfully lead me to tomorrow, lead me into tomorrow. So today I choose to celebrate what God is doing, even while I'm trusting him with what he's going to do. And I hope that you will too. I hope that you will give all your goodness and all your rough edges, rough everything to God. Give it to him and watch what he does. Yes, watch what he does. Because see, God, he'll watch that devil have plots and plots and plots. And those plots, honey, not just plots, but God has plans. The devil has plots and our God has plans. He'll take that plot and turn that thing into something so wonderful, honey, to have your head spinning. And not like The Exorcist. So, y'all, be blessed and have a wonderful week for the rest of this week. It is so nice out here. Oh, honey, my husband was so scared. He was saying, it's going to rain on your head. Okay, I said, okay, Hoppo. It is not raining. It is a wonderful, wonderful evening. It's supposed to storm later. I don't know. But it didn't storm it did not rain on my head. I came out here anyway because I have faith, Patrick. And I had faith that this weather was going to hold up for me. So you can get ready to come and get my materials that I brought out here so we can take them in so they won't get wet. Thank you. But, yes, thank you, Lord. I appreciate my God, honey. Because he brought me through that. If y'all give me a second, let me show y'all that first book. Ooh, baby. Okay, hope y'all enjoyed the view while I was gone. So this was His Father's Sins, the first one in 2012. Baby, when I tell you mistakes, ooh-wee, galore. One of my good friends, one of my really good friends from college, she called me and told me about it too. And she edited the book for me really nicely and sent it back. And I appreciated her. But at the time, I was too heartbroken and too devastated to really show her how much I appreciated her help. But I really, really did. And I want her to know that. I love you for Fantasy, for helping me through that thing. But honey, at the time, I was a basket case. So then this book right here is called His Father's Sins. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is His Father's Sins, the first version. This book right here is called The Right to Judge. I hurried up and wrote this one because I was like, they're never going to believe in me again. And this book is a good book, but I still didn't do everything that I needed to do to this book because I was just getting started writing novels. And so I've taken this one off the market right now, and I'm getting ready to redo this one. So this will probably be my next book, The Right to Judge. And I really don't know if people, too many people read it. I got a lot of good reviews on it from the people that did read it, but I'm going to redo it so that you all can give me another shot. But thank you all for your support. I hope that you will buy these two books. They are on Amazon, they're on Google, they're on Barnes & Noble, and they're on several different sites. And I don't know if you saw, but I put on my Facebook page the other day, my audiobook is on there as well. From Sleep On It. Sleep On It is also an audio book and in my voice. Y'all might say, I don't want to hear your voice all day. But anyway, you got choices. You got options. You can get the book or you can get the audio version. It's up to you. I think the audio version is like $12.95 or something like that. But it's up to you. Thank you all for listening, and I appreciate you. I hope you will buy my books and give me a chance as an author. And also, I have a story on YouTube that I am telling. I think I've already told episodes 1 through 6. And I'm going to be posting probably 7 and 8 this week, and then 9 and 10 next week, and that will be the end of my first season for Roofless, Roofless. Okay, so check out Roofless, and I hope you like it, and please let me know. Please, I need to hear something. Thank you all so much for everything. Let me see who's on here with me. Patrick, Leontine, Janice, Taylor Drew. Hey, baby. Janice. All right. I'm sure Ken Brooke is on there somewhere too, but I just can't see her. Angeline, Matthew. Hey, Angeline. Hey. All right. Hey, English. Thank you all for listening. And I know there's some names that I cannot see. That's always the case. But I really do appreciate you all being on here with me. And I hope y'all understand that it took me a long time to come forward with that embarrassment. But you know what? God is our God is an awesome God. I've come a long way, and experience and maturity allow you to tell your testimony. So don't hold back, because somebody else needs it. Okay? And don't give up on your dreams no matter what. God got something inside of you. Honey, just do it. All right? I love y'all. Y'all have a great, great evening. Oh, I'm supposed to put my song back on. I'm supposed to do this every single time, but I forget because I'm a little old. Let's see, where's this thing? I knew it's not going to show up. I knew it. Things don't happen the way you're supposed to, because you know that old evil devil be so mad at you for. This is the house that Pat built, y'all. Yes, that's my daughter Taylor Drew singing. Remember this house? Yes. Sing, girl. This is a land that it works by hand. Doo-doo. This is a land of an upright man. This is a home. So y'all, this is my little leg. Not my little leg, but my big leg. This is from taking chances of love. It's the same old love. It's the house that Pat built. House that Pat built. Come on, remember this house. Oh, we had some. So yes, this is where my peace came from. Well, no, not came from. My peace came from God, but He brought me here to keep me sane. And I thank Him. I give Him thanks every single day. Yes. Busting out the scenes, cause it's bigger than here. It's the house that Pat built. House that Pat built. Come on, remember this house. All right, y'all. I got the house, nothing to solve. Yes. Riri had done her man wrong and she didn't have Jack. All right. But I got my Pats back. Got my Pats back. All right, y'all. Y'all have a blessed week. Take care of yourselves and each other, like Jerry Springer used to say. Night, night.